dance, bitch! What's up, my little potatoes? Welcome back to another episode of Seduce, me too, on Sam's route. And we're going to continue on. We should be getting to the actual war soon, and to the end of his route soon. He got the powers from the dragon, so I don't imagine there's much left. Let's continue.
So, you got me alone. What do you want?
Diana? Don't try anything fishy with our boy again. I peeked into the room to see Diana faced away from Sam, who had his arms crossed and was waiting for her to speak.
Tomorrow is the day we head out to fight him. We've been fighting
Here
for
goes
10
the war.
years, and it will finally end.
Hopefully I don't kill Diana again.
You're stalling. What is it?
Do you know how many lives have been lost because of this war?
I can imagine quite a lot. That's what happens at war. Sam finally lowered his arms and glared at the back of Diana's head. I glared as well. Why was she bringing this up? From her tone of voice, however, she seriously wanted an answer.
Hundreds? Thousands?
It's not like we can really know for sure.
9.5 million lives.
Okay, well, she's apparently counted all 9.5 million. Sam's breath hitched in shock, as did mine. That many lives had been lost? Was this truly as bloody as the rebel leaders described it to be? Diana turned her head and stared into Sam's shocked gaze.
I had to send off and watch almost 9.5 million soldiers marching to their deaths. This world lost that many lives, and had to take their blood and ashes into its soil as the battles we fought ended. The Demon Lord, however, ravaged and slaughtered thousands of innocent lives in between, sending more people to their deaths just because they were in his way.
Fucked up, Demon Lord.
Why are you telling me this?
All of those lives could have been spared.
Diana turned around and glared hard at Sam, and to my surprise, Sam froze in place.
Every
I thought she
single
was
life
already
that was
looking
lost
at him.
during this war could have lived, could have been leading normal lives.
Sam didn't open his mouth. Why wasn't he saying anything? I felt the need to step in, but I was stopped by a hand over my mouth. Who is touching me? Shh! Damien, oh. I looked up to see Damien covering my mouth and staring into the room intently. I didn't understand. Why was he hushing me? I looked back into the room as Diana began to step towards Sam.
My kingdom became the target of the Demon Lord's wrath, and I came back to the castle and my people screaming to the sky and burning in the flames. My family was taken away from me, and now the only person I had left in my life is missing, presumably dead.
He's not dead. He's not dead. I know where he is. It's really important, actually. I silently gasped, instantly thinking of Saero. He couldn't have been. There was no way. As Diana finally got close to Sam, leaning nose to nose with him, her eyes began to glow a cruel, cold, golden color, making me worry. You gotta be that close to him? Damn!
And it's all because of you, your brothers, and that human.
Oh boy.
What?
Like lightning, Diana and Sam slammed into the far wall. However, instead of Diana against the wall, Sam was held against it with Diana's hand over his mouth. What surprised me the most was Sam staring at Diana with almost a shocked and fearful expression. What the hell? Sam gripped Diana's arm, but for some reason she didn't seem to be affected by his strength like he was gripping stone. Where did her strength come from?
I want to get it through your head that this war is your fault. Yours and that human's fault. My parents, my sister, their lives were ripped away from this world because of you two. My kingdom burned, drowned in the flames of the Demon Lord because of you two.
Okay, I'm just gonna say something real quick here. Now, I was kind of dragged into this all from the beginning. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't want any. It just happened. It's not like I purposely knew it was happening, so don't blame that shit on me, alright?
Your brothers were too enthralled with the human world to give a damn about where they came from, so I could have never convinced them to come back. You were my only hope, and you decided that the human was more important than the peace of this world. Because of your love for her, you stayed in the human world and caused so much death.
Damn. I think that's enough. I slightly thrashed in Damon's arms, but he tightened his hold on me, keeping me quiet. I growled, knowing that I couldn't force myself out without giving both of our positions away, and continued to watch.
I want to burn that anger into your soul. Every single life that has been lost in this war to stop the Demon Lord was because of you and your love.
Diana's hand slowly moved away from Sam's mouth to his collar and gripped it, pulling him up onto his toes. However, as they continued to stare at each other, Sam's eyes began to glow a bright red and gold color, the mixture swirling in his green irises.
This war wasn't.
Yes, It was!
Fucking Christ! Diana quickly pulled Sam forward and slammed him back into the wall, causing him to jerk and wince, growling but continuing to stare at Diana's angry expression. Around Diana's body was a dark purple aura, flickering like a wildfire with her screams.
If I had just killed that human and dragged you back, the world would not be suffering as it is! If that human wasn't alive, then the Demon Lord would not have done what he did!
Oh boy.
If you and your brothers had just stayed, this war would not have happened!
Damn.
We're gonna end it!
Damn, everyone's getting a little touchy. Let's just calm
We
down.
will! And when this war is over, I will never have to see you or that damn human ever again!
I stared wide-eyed as Diana lowered her head down and slightly loosened her grip on Sam's collar. Her back was arced over, twitching and spasming as Diana gritted her teeth.
That is why you two must survive.
What?
Diana's voice weakened immensely, drenched in soft and choked sobs and whimpers.
You two need to survive this war. You need
Okay,
to
I'm getting
protect her
conflicted emotions.
and stay
Like,
alive no matter what.
Diana, what the fuck? My heart dropped, but my mind was lost. Where was this coming from? I felt Damien loosen his grip over my mouth slightly as I watched Sam straighten up to look down at Diana. The aura around Diana slowly began to die out with each word Diana choked out.
If either of you die, then this war will have happened for nothing. All of those
boy.
lives, all of this destruction. The only reason we are here is because of you two.
Diana.
Whew, this is getting heavy. Diana looked up to Sam, a new hopeless pain burning in her eyes as tears began to stream down her face.
Swear to me, Brute, that you will take responsibility for this and live. No matter what happens. Damn the war, damn my life. But you must swear that you understand and will take this responsibility.
Diana. My heart was hurting at the sight of Diana. She looked so broken, barely gripping to Sam and no longer forcing him against the wall behind Sam. Sam, however, pressed his lips together. What was he doing? Or what was he going to do? Sam, staring at Diana's expression, slowly grabbed onto both of Diana's horns and pulled Diana's head downward, pressing his forehead to the top of her head.
I swear.
Aw, that's so cute. For the first and only time in my life, I watched Diana crumble to the ground onto her knees with Sam following her down. Then his hands released Sam and covered her face before she started sobbing violently into her palms. Sam kept his hands on her horns, pressing his forehead into the top of her head with closed eyes. Red energy from Diana's body slowly began to slide along her form and into Sam's head, slowly wrapping around him and fading away. Are they, like, transferring energy? I don't understand. I stepped away from the door and looked to Damien, seeing him look down at the ground in shame. Damien.
It is our fault, but we can't change the past. We can only end this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Damien. I nodded, feeling the weight of the world rest on my soul. In a way, I felt completely responsible for this war even happening. I loved Sam enough to keep him away from his duty, his reason for birth. I had chained him to me, and I wouldn't let him go. I looked back to Diana, seeing her shaking and crying as Sam continued to remain still, holding her horns. The energy had vanished, and all that was left were the tears Diana was shedding. Did Sam take her energy?
Sam took away her rage.
That's a possibility? Wait, what? I looked up at Damien, confused. He was an incubus, so he was only able to take away sexual energy, right? He could take other forms of energy, too? Sam can do that?
Yes, actually. While he's an incubus, he's also part brute demon, just like the rest of us.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually. I was surprised. Sam was part brute demon? So were the boys? Damien chuckled softly, assumingly because he read my mind, and nodded.
Our mothers were succubi. The demon lord, though, he's no incubus. He's a brute demon who feeds on and uses rage energy.
Oh, see? New information. Damien looked into the room, losing part of his smile.
Sam, our brothers and I were born incubi, but Sam inherited more brute demon traits than the rest of us. Thus, why he had the nicknames Brute and Monster.
I thought it was because of his shitty attitude, but, because he wasn't like a regular incubus. Damien nodded. I looked to Sam, seeing him stare into Diana's scalp with a focused but intense expression. The more I thought about it, the more I could see what he meant.
Sam never got into the idea of taking and using sexual energy. He was angry all of the time in the demon world, so he fed on rage energy instead. It wasn't until he went to the human world with us when he began to rely on his incubus powers.
I I could only imagine it. Sam, who hated his father and was the rebel son of the Incubi brothers, full of anger. That was probably why he was so forward when we had met and full of attitude. Still, I fell in love with him. He was truly a wonderful man. He did everything he could to make me happy and feel safe. He always put me first, which flattered me and made me feel incredibly special. I didn't know what to say to that. Diana eventually stopped crying and wiped the tears from her face, but she didn't raise her head. Damien, whom I thought would have stayed longer, disappeared, leaving me alone to watch.
Sam, if I die...
Oh shit, the feels.
Would you?
Would he what? I stared, hoping that Diana would reply with a clearer question, but she merely closed her eyes and let out a small sigh. Suddenly, the noise in the room became silent, but I could see Diana's lips move. Sam's eyes widened as she finished speaking, but he didn't say anything back, even as Diana looked up at Sam. When Sam finally reacted, he let out a silent sigh and spoke back, the sound of his voice negated through whatever silence engulfed the room. As my body began to collapse, I watched as Diana listened and nodded with a smile before fading into the ground through a dark pentagram. Sam, however, remained there, staring where Diana had been, and took in whatever she had said. Upon the demand of my body, I began to move my way towards the bedroom, not wanting Sam to know that I had been eavesdropping. I began to head back to my room, ready for what was going to happen tomorrow. Everything would be decided then.
You cruel, selfish bastard!
Oh my god, please, Diana, you're always yelling. Is he back? A shout, however, interrupted my journey to my room. I froze in place before turning my head towards a door that was barely open a small crack. It was the door leading to the grand hall, Saero's training room. Why was Diana there, though? And who was she yelling at? I peeked inside to see Diana glare into the darkness with her arms crossed tightly over her chest. As I squinted, trying to see what she was glaring at, I silently gasped. Saero! Oh, he's back! Did he get it? Saero was kneeling in the dark before his mistress, his head bowed low in shame. When did he return? More than that, why was he keeping his head down? Was he not successful in his mission?
Where in the 7 planes of hell have you been, Saero?
Oh, man.
My lady,
Man, she's mad. Oh, boy.
You left the castle with no notification or warning, and you activated your damn holy magic to deny me the right to summon you to my side. How dare you!
Oh, boy. Okay, there's an explanation.
If you would let me...
There's an explanation.
And now you suddenly waltz back into the castle with a smile on your face as if you had gone out and killed the demon lord himself.
Shh, calm your tits, bitch. Just calm your tits, bitch, and let him. Fuck. He's trying. Staring at Diana, I could see her face burning as red with rage. Her cheeks, however, were glistened as rogue tears ran down them. Saero kept his head down, but continued to plead with Diana.
My lady, I was on a personal quest. I had to retrieve something I believed to be important, and it was incredibly selfish of me to do so. I'm sorry, but I needed to complete this task before we went into battle.
You placed this quest over your duty to me?
Well, it kinda has to do with you, bitch. Just
Only this once, my lady. It needed to be done immediately, and I greatly apologize for doing so, but I promise my journey bore results.
Do you not realize how worried you made me? I have barely rested these past 3 nights because of you.
I stared at Diana wide-eyed in shock. She was concerned about him? Saero seemed to be surprised as well, eyes wide and staring at the ground. However, he didn't lift his head, most likely still following a demand previously given to him to keep his head down.
My lady, I'm deeply sorry.
Sorry doesn't make this better.
Man.
What if you were killed? What if I was killed? You are supposed to be by my side at all times. You broke the vow that you made not only to me, but to my family, that you would stay with me and protect me.
Girl, it's only for a few days.
My
Oh,
lady,
Jesus.
please!
Enough! I've heard enough!
You didn't even give him a chance to explain, bitch! What the fuck? Diana turned away from Saero, looking to the ground and clenching her eyes shut. More rogue tears ran down her face as she gritted her teeth. Saero finally lifted his face, shocked to see her back instead of her face.
You are dismissed. You are no longer permitted
bitch,
to
come
be in the same
on.
room
You can't
as
make
me
decisions
until
like that
further
without
notice.
actually listening to the explanation that you wanted.
My lady.
I said you are dismissed.
Man,
Saero.
I had a bitch slap you a few times. You're
Saero.
pissing me off.
You do not have permission to use my...
All of a sudden, Saero lunged forward and wrapped his arms around Diana's arms and chest, hugging her body to his tightly, and she released a tearful gasp of surprise. Saero buried his face into her shoulder as Diana stared wide out at the wall ahead of her. There we go, girl. Just accept the love. Calm down. It's all okay. Diana froze in his arms as Saero clutched her body to his, locking it against his chest.
Do not send me away from you. I broke my vow, yes, but I did it for a reason. I cannot bear the thought of being separated from you. Not after what I have discovered.
Oh boy, here it comes, here it comes. Don't ruin this moment, Diana. I stared, feeling my heart clench. It was like watching a romantic drama, where the two leads were either going to break up or confess their love for each other. The air was tense and full of both anticipation and fear. Diana remained frozen in Saero's arms as he lifted his head and gently relaxed his embrace around her.
Saer, I've brought you something.
You?
What? Here we go, girl! Diana finally began to move, slowly turning around in Saero's arms to look up at him in confusion. Saero frowned, seeing her tearful and red face, and gently brought a hand up to her cheek. He gingerly wiped the tears from Diana's eyes with the back of his fingers before cupping her face. Diana didn't lean in, but she didn't object to it.
I've brought you something very important. It may not seem important to this war, but it's important to me.
My heart caught itself in my throat. Did he? He did! Saero released Diana's cheek before waving his hand between their face, black and purple mist forming in the air, shifting into something small. As it finally materialized, Diana gasped and I silently echoed her reaction. There's the rose! In the air floated a beautiful golden rose on a dark green thornless stem. It had mostly blossomed, showing its beautiful petals and glowing softly in between Saero and Diana. It slowly turned in the air, showing Diana all of its magnificence.
The golden rose.
Oh,
a symbol
boy,
and proof of
so
my love
cute.
for you, Saer. I've wanted to retrieve it for you for the longest time, and now I finally have.
Saero.
That's right, girl. Come on now. You know you can't stay mad at that.
I love you so much.
Oh, this is
You
adorable.
have given my life so much meaning, and I have sworn my life to protecting you. Saer, you are the most precious and the most beautiful woman to ever grace the 5 worlds, and being with you every day fills me with such joy.
It's gonna make me cry. This is so cute. Fuck, I skipped. Hold on, go
If
back.
this is what it takes to prove my love for you, then I will happily give you thousands of golden roses for as long as I have breath. But please, know now that my feelings for you are pure and true.
I felt like crying as I watched the scene unfold. Diana was stunned, streams of rogue tears once again falling down her cheeks as she stared at Saero. The rose slowly lowered to float between their chests, as if it was patiently waiting for something to happen.
You are my everything. My moon, my stars, my world. Please, Saer, do not send me away from you.
Come on, Diana. Don't be a dick. Don't
Saero.
ruin this.
You idiot.
Saero let out a soft chuckle as Diana wiped her eyes with a very, very small smile.
Insult me all you like. I deserve it for leaving your side. However, now that I've proven my love to you, I must know the truth.
Come on, Diana!
Do you love me?
Diana looked up at Sarah as her smile grew ever so slightly. Something about Diana changed as she looked up at him. Her eyes seemed to be lighter and full of joy. My heart melted at the way they looked at each other. Sarah watched Diana with curiosity, and Diana gazing at Sarah in warm elation. Diana lifted her hand to the rose and gently cupped it underneath its petals, making Sarah look down and gasp. In Diana's hand, the rose fully bloomed, revealing its innermost gold, almost white petals. Sarah looked back up at Diana, seeing her cry joyful tears and fighting back tears of his own.
I do, Saero. More than you could ever know. I was just...
Saero gently shushed her, cupping her cheek gently and wiping the tears away with his thumb. For the first time, at least from what I had seen, Diana nuzzled into his hand, closing her eyes. She looked so innocent and pure with Saero now. Was this the real Diana? Oops.
Whatever fear you had, let it go. I swear to never hurt you.
I don't regret telling him to go.
Still.
This is so good. I stared, teary-eyed, as Saero gently took the rose from between them and placed it in Diana's hair behind her ear. Diana waited until he finished before reaching up and wrapping her arms around his neck.
I love you too, Saero.
Oh. At last, Saero wrapped his arms around Diana's waist and pulled her close as they both leaned in and finally kissed. It was a magical sight to behold. Their love echoed in the kiss, making each other almost glow within the room. I felt my cheeks warm in an uncontrollable blush as I watched. Okay, girl, let's get out of here. We don't... leave them alone. Leave them alone. They needed their privacy. Who knew where that kiss was gonna go anyway? I smiled, joyful for what had happened between them, before I turned on my heel and began to walk towards my room. Yeah, that's all we needed to see. It worked out. Good. See? We made a good decision there. I finally reached my room and let my body fall into the bed. I let out a sigh of utter pleasure as I felt the cloud-like bed cradle my body on its surface. I was beyond happy. I had been kidnapped and taken to the demon world by the demon lord, trapped here unless he or I died. And Sam and I had haunted by a powerful being that had been hell-bent on testing us. This entire week had become a wild roller coaster ride of excitement that I would have never expected. Still, there was joy to be found in adventure, and my curiosity thanked destiny for letting me experience it. Now all I wanted to do was to get home and marry the man I loved. As Sam finally entered the room at last, I smiled and stood, walking over and wrapping my arms around him.
Hey, you ready to go home?
I am so ready. More than ready. We held each other, locked in silence and unable to say anything more. We let the situation we had just gone through sink in, relieved that we were going to be happy from now on together. All we could do in the moment was hold each other and listen to our synchronized heartbeats. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to grow fearful. Was I ready to go into battle? Was Sam? Or any of us, for that matter? We were about to walk into the final clash of a world war. Would we survive? Would I live to remain with Sam and feel his embrace again? Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. We're just gonna sleep this time. We need our rest. We needed full rest for this battle. We would survive. We would be okay. I felt safe in Sam's arms, and I'm sure he felt safe in mine. We would return to the human world and be okay. Sam kissed my forehead, feeling my exhaustion, and we tucked ourselves in, wrapping each other in our arms and escaping one last time to the darkness of slumber. Tomorrow would decide everything. The day of the siege had finally dawned. We had arrived at the Demon Lord's castle, and we were ready as we could be. Many armies bearing different banners and colors washed over the grounds before the castle, ready to rush in and lay waste to the Demon Lord and the remainder of his forces. All of us shared a common enemy, and upon his demise would all finally know some form of peace. Even during the roll call of the major generals, the air became full of determination and pride.
Mirth, Avarice, Nausea,
All these fucking names.
Aradum.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's what they all sound like to me. Each name called became a mark on history. This was the war to bring freedom or destruction to the demon world. If the rebellion didn't win this fight, then this war would never end. If the rebellion won, then the world would become united and hopefully peaceful rule. The hour before the battle was set to take place, my thoughts instantly ran back to our final meeting in Lilith Castle. Diana had pulled the leaders and us together, instructing us on how exactly to proceed.
Saero, you will be joining Shadow and Sergeant in the front, taking care of the main army head-on. I expect that you will come out of it alive.
That's right, Saero. You can't die. You're not allowed.
Yes, my lady.
Rabbit, Faye, you are in charge of range attacks and defense. We cannot allow any of those blasted imps getting to us from behind.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am!
As Diana looked at me, I grew slightly fearful. I had to get into the Demon Lord's castle, but how exactly did Diana plan on getting me there?
You and your fiancé will take the side route straight to the castle.
So exactly like last time, okay. Wait, huh?
We've organized our army to have our strongest on the front lines and against the tree line, giving us a side route for you to make your way straight to the castle.
If anything trickles into the side route, you'll be able to handle it. However, there is something I must ask of you.
Yes. What is it?
If you are indeed attacked,
Yes, just like
you
last
need to
time.
defend your fiancé
And
the
I
entire
will.
way there.
I'm tough.
Do
Tough
not
cookie.
let him use his energy.
Like hell she will.
Hey, I'm tough, Sam. Don't you worry, man.
When you get to the castle, I will be fighting one-on-one with the Demon Lord. If something should happen to me, then I need you to take over. She is not ready to fight him, and you need to be at full strength to finish him off.
Got a point.
She's been taught well. Let her prove
Yeah,
herself.
Saero
when the
taught me
time
lots of good
comes.
shit, Sam. I stared, listening and reaffirming the order. I couldn't lie, I was nervous, however, I was determined enough to see this through. I looked over at my fiancé with a confident smile. I got this, don't worry. Despite the worried look in his eyes, he nodded and held my hand, trusting me and my decision to agree with Diana's command. Diana rolled her shoulders and looked at the map draped over the war table between us all. Her gaze pierced into the parchment as the aura around her body pulsated in anger.
I will fly ahead and meet the Demon Lord head-on. No matter what happens, I will not allow that monster to live.
Yeah. The pure determination and anger in her voice practically sent a shiver down my spine. She was set on seeing this through to the end, and I was sure that she was willing to even die if it meant taking the Demon Lord with her. Shadow, however, cleared his throat.
Might I suggest a simple solution to deal with the Demon Lord?
This is
What is
different.
it?
Shadow turned and pointed to the map, his finger pressing against the tower structure on the Demon Lord's
If
castle.
my scouts are correct, then that tower directly hovers over the decaying sea.
The what? Shadow turned to me with an amused grimace while Rabbit stepped towards me, hugging her staff to her body.
The decaying sea. A cursed stretch of water that has plagued this side of the demon world for thousands of years.
Okay, this is
Many
different.
demons have fallen into that water and were never seen again.
Just from the look in Rabbit's eyes, I could tell that the sea was bad news. Shadow nodded at Rabbit's description, adding more to the fright of the waters the castle was pressed against.
Any creature unfortunate enough to fall into that cursed stretch of water will be doomed to sink into an endless black void. They can never die due to the dark magic in the water.
So it's
but
like
they can never
fucking
come
a
back
void.
up. There's no...
I became fearful just thinking about going near it. However, Diana crossed her arms and stared blankly at Shadow.
So you wish for me to drag him up to the tower and toss him over?
Precisely. It would make killing him much easier, wouldn't you think?
Diana pressed her lips together, not agreeing or disagreeing with the suggestion given to her. However, the conversation quickly turned back to the matter at hand. The remaining incubi and their wives were asked to stay behind the army and guard the main base, where Rabbit and Faye were stationed. They needed as many eyes as possible on the back of the battle, so that 4 couples were perfect to keep things in check. As they agreed, the meeting ended and the mental preparation had begun. The idea of the upcoming battle scared me, sending waves of fear and worry up and down my body in response to the thought.
Meh. Big crowd for a dickhead old man, huh?
Jesus, Sam, huh? I looked on the map at the war table, seeing multiple markers clutter in an open field in front of the Demon Lord's castle. According to Sergeant, there were hundreds of thousands of soldiers prepared to march, all ready to shed blood. I, however, looked to Sam with worry. I was frightened, yet determined. Worried, yet pushing myself to be brave and step forward. Sensing this, Sam wrapped his hand around mine and gave it a squeeze.
Hey, whatever happens, we'll do it together, alright?
I trust it. I trust us, Sam. I listened to him speaking before nodding, taking a deep breath. Everything would be okay. We'd be fine. I had to believe in myself and get us to the castle when the time was right. I know we're tough. Here we go. This is it. This is about the end. Like a beacon, our forces became the banner of hope and strength for the rebellion. At the sight of Diana, many soldiers bowed or stared in awe and inspiration. Maybe it was her presence, or maybe it was for what she stood for. But as Diana stood at the cliffside of the mountain, the air became full of energy and power. My fiancé, Rabbit, Faye, and I stood behind her as Diana stood on the ledge of the cliffside, addressing the rebellion for their final battle. Her voice echoed across the field, booming and reverberating through the air like thunder.
Milites!
Ooh.
Et hoc liberati esturai
More demon talk.
Tuis omnibus conversiris, sto vobiscum reducitic vos ad spem, nocte, lavabir mur, arcem, ostium sanguine!
What is she saying?
She's saying that everyone's here for the same thing, and we're gonna paint the walls with blood.
Ooh, really? That's intense.
Well, not literally, but that should kick everyone's ass in here.
I nodded as I stared at the back of Diana's head. A part of me felt a little intimidated and jealous of the power she had. She really could make armies bow to her and obey her every whim. At the same time, I knew that she was doing the right thing for this world.
Ele Dio dominati sun nostri, nos destruet, ium mitere, profundissimum, inferni detractos.
Yes! A pair of guards rushed forward, carrying a flailing imp demon who was caught in chains and forcibly slamming him down in front of Diana. She glared down at him and gripped one of his horns, pulling him to his knees.
You should be thankful we didn't throw you into a stew and take you apart.
Oh, fucked up, man. With that whisper, Diana dragged her nails across the imp's neck, slicing open 5 large gashes in his throat and making him garble out a painful, bubbly cry. Oh my lord. Diana, however, kept holding his head up, focusing on the blood that poured from him and guiding the energy that emanated from it towards the castle. With a flash, a large purple and red orb barrier that surrounded the castle shattered, fading in the air. The barrier that held the Demon Lord at bay was finally open, allowing us to charge in and end this once and for all. Diana summoned her saber, letting it shine brilliantly as the purple taint over her skin began to twist and turn. Before my eyes, the taint on her back took shape, lifting off of Diana's skin, and morphed into a set of demonic wings. I could only stare. Jaw dropped as Diana's body lifted off the ground and began to fly over the legions, slowly gliding towards the castle.
To war! To battle!
Let's go! At her final command, Diana's wings pulsated in the air, flapping gracefully as she swooped down and forward. She was charging and flying for the castle walls, saber bared and ready to spill blood. As the armies below began to bellow and march forward, Rabbit took hold of my shoulder and turned me away from the castle to face her.
Come, we must hurry.
Let's go, Sam, you sexy beast! Understanding the need for urgency, I nodded and rushed forward with the rest of the incubi towards the slope down the mountainside.
Everything is in order. Sergeant Diana's guard are at the front lines, while Shadow is with his legion to the west.
Yes.
Got a straight line to that bastard.
Let's take it.
We've done what we can to keep your way clear. We'll try to make sure the battle won't break through the path.
Thank you. I nodded, feeling the need to rush Snip at my heels, pushing me forward. My fiancé seemed to agree, gripping my hand and walking to my pace alongside me. However, as we finally arrived at the forest line, Faye and Rabbit stopped, looking back at us.
Straight through here. The sound of the war will
Yes.
always be on.
Yes.
You'll be fine, though. Just follow the tree line.
Okay, let's go. In sync, my fiancé and I nodded in acknowledgement before turning to see the other brothers and their wives. So, this is it.
Remember your surroundings and protect each
We
other.
will.
Be careful, alright?
We're gonna be okay.
Make sure
we'll
you
make
stay
it through.
safe.
Princess, brother, we'll see you in the end.
Alright.
We have faith in you.
Okay.
We'll
All
finish
right.
this and rush in as soon as we can.
Thank you,
Make
everyone.
sure you kick some serious ass. Show that old goat what he gets for messing.
Okay.
We'll win this.
Jesus.
We know we can.
You can do this.
Alright. Okay. I smiled despite the nerves running through my body. I held onto my fiance's hand and gave it a hard squeeze before receiving one back in kind. We'll finish this, then we'll go home. The group nodded before I slowly turned and looked into the tree line, took a breath, and rushed forward. Matching my speed, my love followed, weaving through the trees behind me not to lose sight of me. The journey was surprisingly fast going through the trees. The sound of war crashed beside us outside of the tree line, causing me to cover my ears a bit from the volume, but I shook my head and pressed forward, not wanting to become distracted. The goal was to get to the castle. I had to focus. Before I could, however, I skipped to a stop, seeing imps appear from the distance and rush towards us. As my incubus came up behind me and spotted the imps, he prepared himself to attack, but I placed my hand on his arms, stopping him. I got this. I walked forward and formed my weapon, letting it shine brightly in the darkness of the forest around us and temporarily blinding the imps ahead of us. My hands formed the guitar as I had trained with, feeling their weight in my hands as the blade glimmered a lavender glow of energy. I swung my hands a bit, recalling the reach and balance of the weapons in my hands as I prepared to attack. The imps, who were blinded by my light only for a moment, looked back at me and stared as they took note of the weapon I had possessed. With a battle cry, I rushed forward, taking advantage of their blank state. I arced my body to the side and jabbed forward, running my blade through the face of an imp before slicing through it and spinning around to slash through the imp beside him, opening 2 large gashes in his chest through his ribs and lungs. Damn. Fucking savage. The imps fell as the others became shell-shocked at the sight. It must have been a big surprise to see a human cut down 2 of their number, but I wasn't in the mood to let them recover. My body quickly turned in front of another imp as I swung my weapon once again, slicing open his throat, with a bubbly cry as he fell as well. I rushed forward again towards the castle, uncaring. The remaining imps began to quake and step back in fear, most likely never expecting to see a human decimate their companions. I wasn't so friendly and merciful, especially in this war, as I went forward again and skewered through another imp, hearing the steel of my weapon breaking through his body. My incubus, despite probably being surprised at my carnage, followed as I continued forward, fighting through every imp that came in our way. I had lost count of how many crossed me, but I didn't care. All I cared about was getting to the castle. By the time we reached the end of the forest, there was a slew of dead bodies behind me. I stood at the tree line, panting and feeling waves of adrenaline and lack of energy run through my veins. I panted for air, slowly focusing on calming down as my energy quickly depleted from its adrenaline-filled high. The weapon in my hand quickly vanished, no longer able to maintain its form without my energy. That was all I could do before my energy was expended and a wave of exhaustion rolled through my body. I began to fall forward, exhausted. My fiancé, however, quickly rushed forward and caught me in his arms.
Oh shit! Are you okay?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Just real tired. That was a lot of work, okay? I looked up to see Sam staring down at me with a deeply concerned gaze. We were safe for the moment, so I merely smiled up at him with a nod. I'm fine. I promised I'd protect you like you protect me. Sam pressed his lips together and shook his head, glaring down at me before wrapping his arms fully around me and hugging me to him.
You fucking doofus.
Oh, I love you so much. I hugged him back, feeling relieved that we had finally arrived at the castle and we were about to rush inside. As we slowly pulled away, Sam lifted me up and helped me to my feet.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. No worries. I nodded, shaking off the exhaustion from my mind. I was ready to end this. I looked up at the castle gates and felt a rush of determination run through me. And we're gonna stop right there because it's been a half an hour. The next episode should be the final episode. I thought maybe this one would be it, but no. The next episode will be the final episode, I'm sure. And that'll be it for Sam's route, so don't miss it. We'll see what happens with us and Sam, if we get the demon marriage, if we succeed, if Diana dies again, what will go on. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, give it a like, and if you're not yet, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, taters! Sam turned and grasped my shoulder, staring into my eyes.
I know that I want to do this.
Oh boy, you guys are
to do this
hitting
more
me
than
hard
anything.
with the feels.
But you are more important to me than some dumb ritual. I will never let you force yourself to make this decision if you're nowhere near ready.
I'm totally ready. Let's do it. I felt like crying. This was exactly why I loved him. This was one of a million reasons why Sam was so important to me. My heart felt at ease looking into his eyes and letting rogue tears roll down my cheeks. It may have seemed like a simple thing, but to me this was important. I gently caressed Sam's cheek, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath my hand and thanking every deity I knew that I had him beside me as mine.